here and I cut it too square and perfect, it's not really going to want to move very well and it'll kind of look different lengths. So I'm going to go straight in and layer this. I'm going to lift up. First thing I always think about with every haircut is where did my client reach for when I was talking to her, right? And then also what I'm looking for is which direction did her hand reach up for her hair, because some people go like this, some people go like this. She went that way, right? So my layers need to go this way. If she went that way, my layers need to go forwards. How I'm going to control the movement and swing, and this is going to look like I've styled it at the end. It's going to look like I've kind of put a round brush or a curling iron through it without doing it. I'm not going to do anything like that. I'm not going to add in products, no hairspray, no nothing, but it's going to look really styled. And where I'm going to get the movement is my section. So if I want the hair to swing back like that, I'm going to section it back. If I want the hair to move forwards like a classic bob, I'm going to section forwards. If I section to the right, it's going to move to the right. If I section to the left, it's going to move to the left. And this haircut I'm going to show you guys is really, really versatile. All I need to change is like the angle of my fingers, because I'm going to lift up where she wants the volume, and the steeper I make that angle and my fingers go closer to the head, the shorter the inside's going to be. So if I'm doing like a really shaggy, mullety, fringy look, same haircut, but I'm getting close to the head, and that's going to be really, really short. But if I do the same haircut, but I'm really far away from the head, that's really long, flicky, like your hair. Very similar to your hair, and even longer, I'd just be further away from the head, layer it out, it stays really, really long. Same cut, really versatile. So I'm going to lift up. I've got the kamikaze, the one that won't cut a perfectly straight line. I'm going to first look for, that's her length. That's her perimeter basically. I just want to kind of keep that. So I'm just going to go from short out to long. And I'm going to try as hard as I can to cut that whole thing off, just with one cut. Watch what happens when I put this shear into the hair. I'm going to try and cut the whole thing. The shear just won't let me. So it just pushed her out. So I've got like a C now there. So it's the best in the world for the girls that say, do something different, but don't touch my length, which is kind of what we're doing here, and which is kind of what pays our bills. So I'm just going to cut really gently from short on the inside to long on the outside, just carving it. Really, really delicate, and it's the best pointer as well. If I'm pointing, on a point cut, the problem you've got when point cutting is the easiest way to cut your fingers, right? So on a point cut, I want to open on the way in, close on the way out. Out, not ouch. So I'm pulling away from my fingers there. And as soon as I run my hands through it, it's just going to give me volume and flicking back. Straight away, instantly. Oh wow, yeah, that's nice. See those flicks? Flicky, kicky, soft ends of the hair. So I'm not had to re-pick it up, I've not had to go in and start sliding and gliding and texturizing. It just instantly gives me more volume, and the volumes, each strand of hair is flicking that way. And the reason it's doing that is because of my section, and the reason the ends are looking soft is because, just to show you how that shear's cutting, this is such a beautiful visual. If you put a lump of hair between these two blades and just close it, it automatically on its own pushes towards the end. So if you just went on our website and bought this and it came in and did that, you'd be on the phone to customer service. The hell is wrong with this scissor you guys have just sent me? It's push, I'm chasing the hair. Traditionally, you'd think the shear's broken, but what it does is it cuts that push, so you've got that flick. So on the end of a curl, to soften out that hard line on extensions, for soft textured hair, they want it to go into more of a point. Everyone's hair is more pointier nowadays, but if I want to cut that, worst shear in the world. It's never going to do it. So for long, bouncy, beautiful hair like this, it's incredible. With every section I'm going to cut now, I'm just going to take diagonal back sections, diagonal back, all the way to the middle, and I'm going to wrap everything onto that first section. The reason I want to wrap it all into the first section, it's kind of wild, right, how soft it is straight away. And again, I'd use this scissor on everyone in this room, every single person. The only time I'm not picking joke is when I want a classic, a structured shape. Which there's time for that, for sure. You've probably got a few clients like that as well. But everything I'm going to cut, I'm going to bring it out to me.
Yeah, I was just going to say on that note, because I get asked all the time, and you guys might think it too, is that I'm always in the class and somebody comes up and says, Sebastian, I want a shear, I just want one thing that does everything. Like, can I get a shear that does everything? And I'm never trying to be like the bearer of bad news, but it just doesn't exist. And I'm not saying that you need a huge collection of scissors. That's not the way that I operate. But obviously something that cuts a straight line really well will never push really well, and something that pushes really well will never cut a straight line really well. So nobody needs a huge collection, just get the specific things for what they do, and it makes a world of difference.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's just interesting how, like, Because if you think about technology of blow dryers, if you think about the first blow dryer you ever picked up, ever in your life, to one that you probably use right now, significant difference, right? It's pretty, like Dyson are making blow dryers now, like what the hell? It's pretty wild. Same with the advancements of product and colour and so on. It's the same kind of when it's come to our sheeters, the advancements have kind of just stayed with the trends, and it's pretty wild. But everything I'm going to cut is going to get wrapped onto this first section for a couple of reasons. First reason, if I pull everything into this front, let's say if I wrap it all into the front, like even like this centre back, bring it all the way to there, as I bring it forwards it stays longer at the back, and the goal's not really to overcut this back or change this length too much, so I'm just going to stay away from it. And then the other thing is, if I wrap the hair around the head and cut it, it wants to wrap back where I pulled it from, so to get that really nice swing backwards, I'm going to pull it forwards more. Let's say if I want a really swingy bob that pushes forwards, I'll bring it back more. Kind of cutting her works in a similar way like those like pendulum things where the wires and balls clink and move. So if you pull it a small amount, it moves a small amount. If you pull it a lot, it moves a lot. So on something like this, I'm pulling it a lot to swing a lot. Any questions so far? You guys are so polite. I'm surprised you're sitting this quiet, guys. You guys are, I love this. I love it. Got a belly full of a shikoot board and we're ready to rock. That quiets me down a little bit. I love it. So all the way up and forwards again, finding that guide through that underneath. So where I'm mainly doing all my work is just on the inside. It's preserving all of the outside. So I'm just kind of flicking the wrist very, very gently to get that texture, and the length and ends up there, so I'm just going to point in with that. But no matter how I use this, there's never going to be that hard line.
You know what, I do have a question.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you, since you're using the length as your guide, why wouldn't you establish a length to match up your, you know, match up to your perimeter
Got no idea.
guide?
No
Okay.
clue. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. That's a phenomenal question. So especially on she's got quite a lot of hair, but let's say if I put her on a spectrum of the thickest hair ever invented in, you know, on planet Earth to the finest. She's not got real finer, but it's a little closer to that direction. So let's say and she was a bit more specific on length. If I go too short on this, I could lose her business. So let's say if I cut it to exactly the length that she wants, and for any reason I overlay it a little bit, the ends are a bit stringy, the only way I'm going to thicken it up is going a bit shorter. So what I like to do on finer hair, where I'm not changing length a lot, I'll layer it first and then change length so I can get the density right. I run into a bit, it's a bit easier for me. Because again, because I'm going to texturize this as well, and if I make it too stringy down there, the only way to strengthen it is going shorter again. So I've ran into trouble sometimes overlayering it after I've cut the length. And then the other goal is as well, which I love about dry cutting, I've been if this was in the salon, I'd have been cutting this for maybe a minute, and it looks great. If she was nervous, and she's like, I just want this much off because she's nervous, first time meeting me, after 2 sections, we are best friends. She knows I've got it. She might be like, you know what, you could take a bit more off that length. So it kind of leaves a little bit more room for gaining that control of the appointment. That's one thing that is really, really nice about dry cutting, instant gratification. If I'm cutting this wet, we both don't know if we absolutely love it till it's dry. And I ain't got a lot of time to change it sometimes like that. Especially when I'm not changing it dramatically, dry cutting's a bit easier. But if this was my client and I worked here, exactly what happened today would have happened. She'd come in, we'd wash it, we'd blow dry it, and the cutting's done dry. So I'm not sacrificing the backwash experience because that's value. It's where I sell product. It's where they kind of get the head massage and relax. Some clients literally come here for a head massage. Oh, you're right. A cappuccino and a head massage. And a shikoot. We're very impressed by the snacks, guys. We really are.
And you know what? And I wanted to do more because I didn't think we had enough.
Next time. Yeah,
that's right.
Because I was ready to order next door, and they're like, "No, I think it's enough."
Yeah, I love
Next time, Sebastian will be the chef. Bring
Okay.
Bring that
Oh,
food.
my goodness.
It's funny. We've got a rep. He's in Vegas now, and he's got his own. He sells scissors, but he's got his own barbecue company. He's like an award-winning barbecue maker from Kansas City, and he travels all over the country. He makes the most amazing barbecue. So whenever I do a class with him, I'm like, anyone buy shears today? He bringing you some ribs, and they're all like, all right. And then I went back and he goes, never brought those ribs. I'm like, Carl, you got to take the ribs. Come on, dude. But he makes the best barbecue. If you like Kansas City barbecue.